ship and make things right.
Let's take a look at the Chicago highlights. And there was a lot to talk about early on, Steve. Obviously, the PK that had everybody scratching their head.
Well, it shouldn't have been a PK. Tony Alfaro with a great goal-saving tackle. Referee gives the penalty, and then it only got worse. His decision here to order a retake after the Stefan Fry save made it that much worse for the Sounders.
It was really hard to explain. Nikolic steps up and he cans this one here. The Sounders were down early, but of course it's Clint Dempsey to the rescue. Clint Dempsey doing what he does best, getting a little bit of space, turning, and a great drive with his left foot.
The response to the ball was great. Clint Dempsey has been one of the big positives for the Sounders this season. Missed a lot of last season, but he's come back hungry and a great goal there.
And in the second half, it was all Chicago. Great build-up here. David Acom with this goal, and goals 2, 3, and 4, and it was over for the Sounders, losing in Bridgeview, Illinois, 4-1. Here's what Ryan Schmetzer had to say after the match.
A bit of a shock to see us that far down the standings with only 2 wins, based on the way we played some of our games. This game, I won't use that excuse. Fire were better. They were better. No one quits. No one quits, and they have to play like a team. Attackers have to play and defend sometimes. The defenders have to push up and help the attackers. We're not playing as a team.
Time to bring in Casey Keller. Casey, we were there on Saturday. I still want you to explain the PK sequence to me.
That's going to be very difficult because, first of all, it wasn't a PK to begin with. It was a very clean tackle from Tony Alfaro. As you can just see, I don't know how many times you got to slow it down. It's as clear can get. Look, Nicholas throws his arms up in the air. Okay, he cons the ref, but at the same time, the ref has to see that. But this is where it gets really strange. I mean, the double encroachment call, where the main person encroaching is Schweinsteiger. Roldan's a little bit behind him, but neither of those 2 guys touch the ball when Stefan catches the ball cleanly. Okay, maybe it's Stefan Fry who encroaches, but there's the official on the line. Does his flag go up? No, it doesn't. So it's one of those significant head scratchers that I think none of us are going to be able to explain, and hopefully it's just a young referee, only his 5th game in the middle. He learns from it.
Well, and that brings us to tonight, Steve. Our team health report is presented by CHI Franciscan Health, keeping you Northwest healthy, and the team is depleted this evening. Obviously, Henry Wingo, Kovar, Roman Torres, and Alonso is scratched for this evening, getting some rest as these games are coming fast and furious. Jovan Jones, obviously the biggest miss with the suspension due to the red card. Your thoughts on Jovan Jones being out tonight?
No, the Sounders are obviously going to miss what Jovan Jones gives them going forward. We all know that. But I also say that defensively, he's extremely underrated. Very rarely does Jovan Jones get beat on the outside. And so tonight, we'll see just how valuable Jovan Jones has been to this team. And with him out, it's a new look back line again, a different lineup for the Sounders. And particularly the outside back position. O'Neal Fisher, he's played a couple times at right back this year. He's back on the left-hand side, and Jody DeLem back in the lineup after his suspension. Those 2 changes, and also Jordan Morris back on left mid.
O'Neal Fisher will get that start on the left back. He hasn't played since Vancouver. Let's head back to Keith Costigan and Casey Keller. Their thoughts on tonight's lineup.
For the weekend, we want to put behind us. It's very different players in the lineup today. O'Neal Fisher left back, but what do they have to do differently tonight that you didn't see defensively from the team at the weekend?
Well, I think the defensive shape. I think there was times in the Chicago match where the shape was off, not only from the defenders, but also in the defensive midfield side of things. So I think it's really important to start the match and get the shape right. Chicago has the ball. One pass gets past your 2 defensive midfielders from the back. And from there, with no pressure on midfield, that line has to drop. You can't stop with no pressure. It's almost a one-on-one situation. It's a saving tackle. Well, here's the ball turned over in midfield. It's always a little bit tricky when your outside backs get on the attack. Outside left, up the field, space there, almost exploited. Now, another situation where the ball's turned over in midfield. This time, both their outside backs are forward. Leaves all kinds of space for smart players to take advantage of. And the Chicago Fire, with the players they had, were able to take advantage of those missteps. And it could have been much worse than the scoreline actually was.
Particularly in that second half. And you look at this Sporting KC lineup, you're not going to get away with those mistakes against this team either.
No, not at all. When you have players like Benny Fallhaber winning the balls in midfield, his ability to pass, Gerso has showed tremendous amount of one-on-one ability. The pace of Dom Dwyer to exploit that space if it's given. So the game plan has to be just get your back six, get your outside backs, let them go forward very often, just stay defensive to start with. Do not give the Sporting Kansas City a 2-goal lead, as we've seen too many times this year so far on the road. The Sounders don't start playing until they're 2-0 down.
And the big issue, of course, no Ozzy Alonso in the starting lineup. And we're going to take a short break. We're going to return. We're going to hear from the man who replaces him in defensive midfield, Gustav Svensson. Stay with us.
Sporting Kansas City fans, visit the App Store or Google Play to download the Cubs free mobile app, Sporting KC Victoria. Enhance your match day with exclusive offers, live stats, SeatGeek mobile ticketing, MySKC Cam, and more. Show the offers to your cashier, your local price counter, and receive a free 16-ounce carton of Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. The wind is subsiding a little bit. It's kind of knocking us around here during the pregame show. These two teams met 3 times. The biggest one, obviously, Steve, in the knockout round at the beginning of the playoffs.
And it was a great game. It was slick, it was wet, and probably the hardest challenge the Sounders faced on their way to MLS Cup.
To the MLS. Christian Roldan.
MLS. Different. I came here trying to take a place on center mid. I know that needed me to play right back first, and then needed me to play center back.
I was down in preseason with you, and from the very first day, you're very vocal. You settled into the team. It seemed like you've been there forever. Have you really kind of taken a leadership role in the locker room? Because it's kind of a young locker room. You have a lot of experience.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. And when the game starts or in the practices, I just hate to lose, so I will do anything. I will scream.
With the Russian military, how much of that can you share? Kind of the experience that you had over there.
Yeah, that was a different time. I don't think about soccer at all. Maybe that was a good thing for me, taking soccer out of my life. Like probably the only time or the first time that I was just a hobby. I remember I told the club to organize a car or a bus or anything that can take us, out of that place, and they helped us, so it turned out good.
Played maybe go back to Sweden.
I've joined IFK Gothenburg when I was 14, and I played there many years. And I think my goal is to have my career end at IFK Gothenburg. To say not year by year, but it's my career is when, but I can see it, so goal in my head. But I don't know when it's gonna end.
And tonight, once again, Steve Gustav Svensson's Sounders FC pregame show is brought to you by Slalom Consulting. Experience the match from the sidelines at the Slalom Experience. Call 877-MLS-GOAL now for more information. Well, it's turning out to be a beautiful evening here at Children's Mercy Park.
A couple NFL legends, so we'll be out there July 2nd this year, and of course this game. It's a fun day for the whole.
Question to you. And Global Systems Integrator. More info at redapp.com. By McDonald's of Western Washington. Now on match days, get a free breakfast sandwich with any purchase when you download the app. McDonald's, the official breakfast of Sounders FC. By Home Street Bank. There's no place like Home Street. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. And by Jeep. Reach the peak of efficiency with the 2017 Jeep Cherokee and its EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. Visit your local Jeep dealer today.
And forward number 17, Will Bruin. The Seattle Sounders are coached by Brian Schmetzer.
We stand. We chant. We believe. We force. We fought together. This hope dominated trailblazing trophy waves together. We trailblaze, we celebrate, we stand tall. We conquer walls. Together. This is our club, our city,
Chicago on Saturday. Today we're in the wonderful city of Kansas City, and business is on the mind of Seattle Sounders FC as they look to bounce back from that disappointing loss as they take on the hosts, Sporting Kansas City. I'm the match commentator Keith Crossing here at Children's Mercy Park alongside Casey Keller. Casey, it's a rejig lineup today for Brian Spencer. What do you want to see early from this team?
Defensive shape. I just want to see this team defend right. Clint Dempsey not in the lineup. He's being rested. So it really comes down to what we saw the other night in Chicago was just too open. There's too many opportunities for Chicago Fire to hit the Sounders on the counterattack, particularly now when you don't have Jovan Jones in the lineup. You've got O'Neal Fisher playing a little bit out of position. You don't have an Ozzie Alonso in that holding defensive midfield role. So just keep that defensive shape straight away. Don't gift your opponents a 2-goal lead before you start to play, which unfortunately has been too often this season so far.
Seattle Sounders, always one of the best represented teams on the road. Once again, have fans in attendance. And of course, you add in a little caveat of Seattle Sounders knocked Sporting Kansas City out of the playoffs last year. They felt aggrieved in that game as well.
Well, and considering that Kansas City beat the Sounders twice in the league. So it's kind of that, okay, Sounders got one back on them then. It'll be interesting to see what the response is to a very informed Sporting Kansas City. 4-0-1 at home. They feel very comfortable here at Children's Mercy Park. So it's going to be a big task for the Sounders tonight.
Sporting fans, please welcome to the field, Sporting Kansas City!
At this time, we ask that you stand for the presentation of colors provided this evening by the Lenexa Police Department. And now, to honor America and the men and women defending our freedom, please remain standing for our national anthem, sung this evening by Gracie Schramm.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Well, if you're just joining us, getting home from work, we'll reacquaint you with the starting lineups for today's matchup. Seattle Sounders at Sporting KC. We'll start with the Delta starting 11 for Seattle.
Well, yeah, it is. It's a few changes. O'Neal Fisher playing at left back for the suspended Jovan Jones. Jordy Lynn comes back in from his suspension at the right back. Ozzie Alonso can't make the 11. So Christian Roldan moves from the right back spot he played last match back into that more comfortable defensive midfield role. And no Clint Dempsey, he's on the bench being rested, so Alvaro Fernandez comes in and Will Bruin is up top.
Of course, you look on that left-hand side, Jovan Jones tied for third in MLS in assists, unavailable today. For Sporting KC, it's been pretty similar lineup for every game this season for Peter Vermees.
Yeah, they really don't change a whole lot. The last game, Dom Dwyer suspended with yellow cards, so Blessing came in. He scored 2 goals, but finds himself on the road today as Dom Dwyer comes back in.
And you look, Brian Smetzer, very animated. He wasn't shy about saying his team weren't good enough against Chicago. He said we must fight together. What would the message have been right before kickoff as they went out in the tunnel from him today?
Well, I'm just going to keep reiterating the point. It has to be that you have to defend as a team, and he said that in his press conference after. Sometimes forwards have to defend, sometimes defenders have to attack, but I think it was more on that defensive as a team. Defensive shape starts from the front, and it was very disjointed against Chicago the other night.
You always know what you're going to get when you come up against Peter Vermees.
Your ear's going to hurt if you're anywhere near Peter Vermees because he's going to be yelling the whole match.
And interesting, last year when Sounders played here, it was a 3-0 loss, and he was very animated towards the end of that game as well. Well, referees, we talk so much about them at the weekend. Hopefully we won't hear the name of Ted Uncle too much, Casey.
Not after last week. We'll just kind of let Ted do his thing today, and hopefully, like you said, there's no drama.
We start every game on a clean sheet.
Correct.
Sporting KC's home record this season, they've won 4 and drawn 1. They come into today 9 points clear of Seattle Sounders. Nico Ladero with a final message to his troops. There's been a lot of talk about how to use both Ladero and Dempsey in the starting 11 today. No Clint Dempsey. He's available for selection. This time Melia goes the opposite side with this jersey.
Almost comes off as Graham Zuzi is able to find Jerso, but Jerso
just over Morris, and again he shows that good range of passing.
But that's good positioning from Jordan Morris, because it was not a case where Zuzi could collect the ball, get the ball down, and then take players on. It was exactly the spacing you want to have. If it's under hit, you win it. If it's a perfect pass, you're there to put instant pressure on.
Sanovic trying to come inside instead, comes back to Fail Harbour, who's dropped deep on a number of occasions so far to try and get possession. O'Para initially was going to leave it for Espinosa. They got caught in 2 minds. It might open up for Bruin, and very good cover defending from Beasley.
You don't see it often where your own man tackles you. With a little bit of a confusion between Espinosa and Ike O'Para, and Sounders try to take advantage.
Left-hand side, because that area has been open on a couple of occasions now to start this match.
Well, I mean, it's the way that they play. Sporting can't see both their outside backs, and particularly with Graham Zuzi playing right back, who's, I think, looking to play there maybe for the U.S. national team, so I understand where Peter Vermees is trying to play him there in the league, but he's a midfielder by trade, so it's not necessarily the first
defending. The Sounders, when Kansas City get the ball, their line of confrontation really is at the halfway line. It's not the top of the circle like you sometimes see away from home. It's at the halfway line, and once they win it, Will Bruin, Jordan Morris, those guys have the license to just take off. They almost got in with Jordan Morris.
They might be in here. Nico Ladero, one over the goalkeeper. Melia covered the angle well. And once again, to Steve's point, it was on the counter-attack. It was win. Go forward quickly. And Melia has to make a good save.
Yeah, and originally it's a good challenge from Matt Beasler, but the ball falls eventually to Ladero. It's a nice ball in, and the angle just is unfortunate that he just got forced a little bit wide. Melia does a good job of holding his angle well, standing up big. It would have taken something special for Nicholas Ladero to beat Melia from that angle. But in the end, it's so far good start from the Seattle Sounders in this first 12 minutes.
Melia with 6 shutouts already on the goes towards that far post. Alfaro, who was sensing, he gets a touch on it. Number 4 for hold on. Instead, Jerso looking to break. Good read from O'Neill Fisher and takes the sting out of it. Just goes back to his goalkeeper. Probably the correct decision.
Yeah, definitely. Just slow things down a little bit. You're the away team. You don't have to push the tempo. Leave that to Kansas City. You've already seen 2-3 occasions Kansas City trying to push forward, get numbers in the attack to create chances, and it's creating chances for the Sounders on the back.
Ball back with Melia. That defensive record, just 7 goals conceded, second only to FC Dallas. But once again, a very good start to the season, undefeated in MLS play. But they have shown signs of weakness over the last 2 weeks. Sporting KC going to Minnesota and losing by 2-0 in that one. The pace of Miguel Ibarra in particular causing them trouble. See if Morris can continue to do the same. Beasley. From Alvaro Fernandez. Tries to play it in for Madero.
It's well read by Ilya just to be able to slide over Unfortunately, after Flacco tackles the ball, it just got away from him a little bit. He was worried going out of bounds. But once again, you're forcing Matt Beasler into tricky passes, which then opens up to the ground.
Graham Zusi making a run on that right-hand side. No flick ball in behind. Bellharbour looked like it was out of play. The assistant referee agrees with that. There'll be a goal kick for the Sounders. Looks like Stefan Fry having a little bit of a word with Jordan Morris about his defensive responsibilities.
Well, when you're playing kind of outside midfield, your responsibility is the outside back when he comes forward. The last thing you want to do is put O'Neal Fisher on a 2v1 all over the place. And yes, Jordan normally plays as a central striker, but he's asked to play this outside midfield role today, which means he has a lot of defensive responsibilities on Graham Zusi.
Coming forward. There's the ball out wide for Zusi again. Back for Opara. Been steady this season. Last season was unavailable for large periods due to injury. Zinovic. Back for Beasler. You can see Beasler play at fullback as well for both club and at national team level.
And this morning KC team, they spread out massively when they have the ball in possession. So if you can win the ball back, you will have space to attack on the counter.
Espinosa with another good ball out wide. Jose Fernandez run to the byline and Svensson again, good positioning. He saw exactly where the danger was going to come from.
It's 2 times now. Gerson has got the ball in that similar area, and without even looking, is just trying to hit that cutback, expecting a Benny Fellhopper to maybe come in from a deeper midfield role. And both times, Svensson and Roldanov got the position exactly right.
Different line. We're so used to seeing Ozzy Alonso in that central defensive midfield role. Svensson alongside Roldan back in. First time we've seen that partnership. Espinosa continually looking for that big switch. He's got a little bit too much on it for Setsinovic. Espinosa, former FA Cup winner with Wigan, now in his second spot at Sporting KC. I'd like to remind you that Readout is a proud partner of Sounders FC. Short for Alfaro. His package is goalkeeper, maybe a little bit unnecessary pressure on Fry, but manages to get the clearance out.
Yeah, those are always tricky because you think if you're listening to do exactly the same thing you would have done, through the ball up the field and just hit it first time. If it's not on, I understand there's this idea. You want to play out of that. If it's not on, don't take the risk, particularly when you're in a little bit of a poor patch. Why risk a mistake at that stage and just give Kansas City an opportunity?
Particularly with Dom Guan, who's a forward that will chase down every shot. Faro, Ladero, Fisher, in for Ladero, inside for Bruin. Good movement this from the Sounders. Ladero, Bruin making a very good run. Can he find him? Well, once again, Beasler comes across to read the danger, but we haven't seen that often from Will Bruin, dropping deep and then looking to link. Almost timed his run to perfection.
Yeah, because a lot of times you have Kurt Dempsey on the field, so then you would have three people kind of dropping back into those situations. You need someone to stay high. I think right now,
it's good link play again. Berlin and Sinova getting both arms behind him. Hold on, just a little bit overhit on the cross, but again it was good link-up play involving Bruin. We'll go back to the initial one involving Ladero. Here's what we talked about, where Bruin goes deep and makes the run.
Yeah, no, it's good gameplay. I mean, all the way around. It's a good idea. You don't take any risks at the back. You win a second ball in midfield after the kick from Stefan Fry. You then have space opened up through your playmaker Nicolas Adeo. You have good runs off the ball. It's called soccer. It's the way it's supposed to be played. It's a good job. And the Sounders keeping that good defensive shape to start with.
You make it sound easy. Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
Graham Zusi. Saint Zusi, as he's sometimes known. certain corners of the world. Luisa Fernandez can keep that ball in play. Reminder, Sounders back at home, back in action this Saturday. Go to soundersfc.com/tickets for more information on that one. Real Salt Lake not in very good form recently, and so I hope that continues on Saturday. And Dwyer, strong challenge of Chris Simpson. He pointed to the ball as if to say he made contact. Referee Ted Uncle saw otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the contact started with the upper body first before the contact. Well, we'll have a better look on the replay. But Dwyer gets around. Hard to tell once again, just have a better idea. Comes in. I'm not sure if this he got a lot of the ball or not. But in the end, it's not a bad place to commit a foul that far deep on the counterattack. Dwyer running at your back four.
Spencer looking on, he's seen his side be dangerous on a couple of occasions on the counter-attack so far. Now they have to defend this set piece. Pearl Harbor. Jersey both over it. Jersey goes short. And that one straight onto training ground. And I think it's straight back to the drawing board.
Yes, it was. I mean, it's always difficult. I mean, you ask most coaches around the world, the more complicated the set piece, obviously the more difficult it is to execute. You put a ball into it, you have a free opportunity to put a dangerous service into a dangerous area, and you have to make a 5-pass combination at the top of the box.
You said soccer sometimes is simple. There we see an example of when we make it complicated. Worked out for the Sounders in the end. Beasley tracking back, and we'll just knock this one back to Tim Melia. Interesting story, Melia. Spent a little bit of time at Chivas USA, but bounced around the lower leagues before finding a home here. Has had some back issues over the last couple of seasons, but seems to be at full strength now. Morris inside Fuladero. Delem again giving width. Alvaro Fernandez just inside. Looks Fuladero just a little bit too much on the pass, and easy interception for Beasley. Now a chance to counter-attack perhaps for Sporting KC. That's a very good defensive read from O'Neill Fisher.
Well, but that's the good shape. It's when you have Delem forward on one side, you have Fisher holding on the other. Just kind of being that bit of a shield. So in case the ball breaks down, you don't have a quick counterattack at tennis place. And there's a poor pass from Delem. But fortunately, it's an even poorer pass from Roger Espinosa to get possession straight back to Seattle.
And another chance to break here. Ladero finds Morris. Usually having to get back in and defend. Morris goes to the end line, gets his cross in. And O'Para half-handed appeals, I think, for Broom for perhaps a handball on that one. But that was very enterprising play once again from Morris. Gets to the line and wins the corner kick.
Well, it comes from that giveaway from Espinosa, and there's the space, and it really is just Jordan Morris going one-on-one with Graham Zuzi. A lot of defenders forcing Morris more and more to his left, so the more Jordan Morris can punish teams with that left foot, the more space he's going to have to come in on his right.
Sounders go short. Morris, this one works for them, and well, it ended up back at the feet of Ladero, but the assistant referee says he was in an offside position. We'll now go down to Steve Zakuani. Steve, first 20 or so minutes of the match, what are you seeing from the Sounders so far?
So far, so good, Keith. This is the exact 20 minutes or so that Brian Schmetzer and his coaching staff would have wanted. They've kept it tight defensively. They're asking Kansas City to break them down, which Kansas haven't done much. They've tried to go wide a couple of times, but the Sounders have stood strong. And on the opposite end, they've had good chances, and that's come from having a good defensive block, good defensive positions. When the Sounders have won the ball, they're doing to Kansas what teams have done to Seattle all year, and that's tried to hit them with a counter-attack. Aside from a goal for his team, I don't think Brian Schmetzer could have asked for much more first 20 minutes.
Thank you very much, Steve. We'll bring Steve back in throughout the broadcast. Here Sounders looking to go forward again with Fisher. A very different look in that left-back role than Jovan Jones has been giving, but so far the defensive positional play has been good. There's Fisher again. Svensson. Back for Alfaro. Just knocked it to nobody in particular, but luckily for him, Alfaro gives it right back for the Sounders. Rolled on. Morris wanted to go forward. Didn't see too many options, so elected to just come back out through Gustav Svensson. Marshall. At this stage, last season, if I'm not mistaken, Marshall was the Sounders' top scorer. Delem with the cross. Easy defending for Remzusi as Ladero instead out wide. Well, you can watch the next Sounders FC match in style with the full 90 match day experience from Amica Insurance. Enter at soundersfc.com/full90. Opara.
Yeah, you can see that when the Sporting KC center backs have the ball, and another mistake from Roger Espinoza, just gifting the ball straight back to the Sounders. But there's no movement, and the Sounders are clogging that midfield really well with numbers. There's no clear pass, and mistakes are made.
Great ball in behind Alvaro Fernandez. The flag had stepped down as well. It was an excellent little through ball. And if Alvaro Fernandez had a corral that one in, he went a real shot on goal as well. But again, that shape just holding off, and then once the Sounders win it, they look very threatening going forward. There's no flick over the top.
But it's coming from mistakes from Kansas City. It's, again, Roger Espinoza, who's normally very careful with possession, has just gifted 2 or 3 balls away that have given the Sounders an opportunity to get out on the counter. And when you want to push that many numbers forward in the attack, you have to be good at possession, because if you give the ball up in midfield, space is there to be exploited, and the Sounders very unlucky on a couple occasions not to give themselves better opportunities to score goals from the giveaways.
Brian Spencer in conversation with Will Bruin as that play was continuing there, just asking him to get back on Ilie rather than denying the central defender's possession.
Yeah, it's more about blocking the space for the attacking players that Kansas City has, as opposed to thinking that the center backs of Kansas City are going to cause you a bunch of problems, particularly Ike Opara. Good defender, but not necessarily the guy that you're thinking is going to be leading the passing for Kansas City.
Beasler plays the ball out wide for Sanovic. He is the one they generally play through, Matt Beasler. But again, the Sounders will look to break. Bruin, Morris, Ladero. Good pace and tempo for the Sounders passing when they are countering. Fisher. Just holds the ball up, allowing Ladero to drop in and get possession again. Fisher just wanting that run, perhaps from somebody going out wide to open things up. It doesn't come. So the Sounders will just recycle the attack through Marshall. Rodon. Alfaro. Morris on the turn, opens up for Morris. Good run from Bruin. Fisher out wide. Fisher with the cross. Neely elected to punch that one clear. Only as far as the Lem. Espinosa, a lot of contact with Ladero, and Ted Uncle was right in position, says no free kick.
And then Espinoza just gives the ball straight back to Seattle after that. So, again, it's good pressure. I'm not sure why Jordan Morris passed the ball out wide. He's one-on-one with Ike Opara in the middle of the park. It's just a little dip, a half step, and take a shot, but instead elects to pass it. This is where I want to see him. Just take Zuzi tucked all the way in. Maybe that's why he felt he didn't have the space. And then the cross too close to Tim Melia, who, as you mentioned, elected to punch when it looked like it was a pretty comfortable catch or opportunity to catch.
And here we see again Will Bruin just dropping off, allowing the centre-backs to have it. Beasler, Ilie. Almost looks like a 4-4-2 at times with Ladero up alongside Bruin. Ladero drops in now to try pick up that space around Ilie. Jerso going to have a go at O'Neill Fisher, but good play from Morris as he gets back in and doubles up defensively. Ball out wide to Sanovic. Failhaber. Ilie comes out again to Beasler.
Well, and that's what you want defensively. You have 11 guys behind the ball. You make it so difficult to actually play the ball back to midfield without having any kind of options to find that little probing ball into Dwyer, into Failhaber to try to make something happen offensively. So the shape we were talking about in the pregame, what we wanted to see from the Sounders tonight, particularly in this first 20, 30 minutes, has been absolutely spot on. It took a little bit the first few minutes to see what was the range on the switching balls from Kansas City, but after that, it's been perfect.
First time we've seen Dom Dwyer get in possession. Good ball out wide from him. Zusi in a good position to cross. It's a good delivery. It's an excellent defensive header. Jordy the Lamb had to get back in. He attacked it well and gets it just before Dom Dwyer.
And it was such good position when they headed it out, and Dom Dwyer follows through, and Jordy the Lamb actually gets the ball. Here's the cross comes. Attacks it. There's the push in the back. There's the foul. Simple, and it's just about good positioning, going with runners, and clearing the danger. Good work from Jordy the Lamb.
26 fouls called against Dom Dwyer before today. 5 yellow cards leads MLS. Not afraid of throwing his body in where it counts.
And then for so long, the Sounders just being not even worrying about playing out of the back. That time they elect to play out of the back, out of the goal kick, and almost give possession back to Kansas City in a dangerous area. So I think sometimes it's just one of those games you say, look, yeah, we want to pass the ball back, but this is where the experience of Stephen Fry has to say, look, it's not on, it's not right. Let's keep a zero with the back. Let's knock the ball. We're winning a ton of balls in midfield on second balls. We're creating chances from it. Don't force it. Don't force it if it's not on.
Just an interesting point on that last defensive play. Brian Smetzer told us earlier in a broadcast meeting he would like to see that matchup, Jordy the Lamb and Dom Dwyer, with the Lamb in a central position at some stage in his career. He said he feels that the Lamb has a lot of the physical attributes that could match up well against Dom Dwyer.
Jimmy!
I just want to remind you that Peter Vermees is not the fourth member of a broadcast team, but you will hear his voice throughout the game, I'm sure. Not happy with what he's seeing so far from his team, if the tone of his voice is anything to go by.
Well, what he's calling for is when Delem comes out wide, he wants to see Jimmy Medranda make that run, that inside-out run into the corner, into that kind of space. It's so difficult for Seth Sinovic to be able to do that when Delem's already marking him. So the idea is that Medranda gets off of the shoulder of Chad Marshall and then spins into that space, and he's just not making those runs, making it very easy for Chad Marshall to mark.
Some other results around the league today. Midweek edition of MLS. Philly 2-0 up against Houston. So that a positive result for the Sounders, as is this one. Chicago, Nikolic on the score sheet again as they lead against the Rapids. So two Western Conference teams losing at the moment to Eastern Conference opposition. Back for Ilya. Again, another lovely ball out wide for Zusi. Espinosa. Verso Fernandez, back for Espinosa. Pearl Harbor just to the left. Instead, he goes all the way wide for Sinovic. Pearl Harbor. Miranda. Good pressure from Roldan, just forcing it back, and then the Sounders once again holding the line. Para. Zusi. Jordan Morris all the way back in defending him.
And again, just no space. There's no movement from Dom Dwyer or Medranda, and if that stays the same, and the Sounders are able to just block the path of balls into those two guys, the defensive is going to, and that's the frustration, right? When there's no place to pass it, you try to force it into areas that aren't there. Akapara tries to throw a ball to Graham Zusi, who's well marked by O'Neal Fisher, and it's a simple goal kick for the Seattle Sounders. And this is it. This is exactly what I thought would happen, is the Sounders just spread a little bit wide. Very quickly, Stephen Fry was like, guys, just go up. It's not on. And he hits his ball in.
I said Peter Vermees is very loud and animated on the sideline. One man close to him who has to listen to that is Steve Zakuani. Steve, what are you hearing from him?
Well, I think the whole stadium can hear him, and he's very, very frustrated. It's because Sounders are asking KC to bring them down. They're simply sitting back, staying in their defensive block, and so far Sporting have had no answers to do it. What the Sounders are doing really, really well is they're allowing Pearl Harbor to get on the ball, and then every other person is marked up. They're tracking runners, and they're forcing KC to find that. So far, they've not been able to find. The couple times Kansas City they've had chances, it's been from giveaways and quick counter-attacks. Aside from that, in the run of play, the Sounders' defensive block has been so good because everyone's buying into the defensive block that Sporting KC so far have had no answer.
Thank you, Steve. And to Steve's point, the big scoreboard showing inside the stadium, 0 shots for Sporting KC. Obviously that means 0 shots on goal as well. Not often you see that happen for the home team.
It's hard to score.
You told me earlier soccer was simple.
It is. If you don't shoot, you can't score.
Zuzi in possession, Beasler. Harbour looking for the Grande on the turn, tries to get away from Marshall. The Grande still has it. Comes inside, well, that blocks the initial pass. Pearl Harbour, look at the space for him. Pearl Harbour and Marshall comes out, time the challenge to perfection. Pearl Harbour not happy with his teammates' movement. It was good defending from Marshall.
It was, but that's the kind of space that Peter Vernon screamed about because he wants to see him drawn to make those runs. And after he does that, he comes inside. Then it's the space for Harbour, but an excellent job. Look at all the blue shirts, dark blue shirts, no space, no runs, and in the end, it's an easy block.
Pearl Harbour with the delivery, well defended by Will Bruin. So powerful in the air, attacking wise, but shows his defensive prowess there as well. Jerso. Pearl Harbour. Zusi. Goes back for Beasler. Sinovic. Beasler. Again, the Sounders quite content with Beasler and Apala in possession. They go all the way around out wide for Zusi. Grande just inside of him. He and Joseph Fernandez have switched wings for the time being. Espinosa. Switch again comes to Beasler. Sinovic. Jerso, good run from him, gets in behind the left. Joseph Fernandez with the cross. Hold on in a good position. That's a warning sign, Joseph Fernandez. Very threatening in wide areas.
And it's the first time today we've seen one of the two outside backs kind of get caught in a bad position. Delem got caught stepping up. Jerso just checks back, runs in behind, and almost takes advantage.
Sporting KC have it back with Ilya, and that came just a little bit more than a minute or so after that switch. Jerso on this Sporting KC left-hand side. Hold on, Svensson. Alfaro. Svensson. Back for Alfaro. Looking for Morris. There's a couple of bright moments early on, but relatively quiet 15 or so minutes. The young striker. Just 2 goals on the season so far. He's telling Setsanovi to keep going. Beasler. Finds that ball for Jerso. Looked like it was a little bit short on the back pass from Marshall. Not quite sure that's what he had intended. Worked out in the end for Fry.
Yeah, ball just kind of initially came through. There's that little St. Delem just getting caught up. Not going with the man, but excellent positioning from Gustav Svensson just to cover. Gets into that space and clears the initial danger. And the Sounders through the side of the league.
Sounders done a good job of coping without Ozzy Alonso today so far?
So far. You know, obviously he's a tough guy to replace. And I think you kind of play a little bit differently because of it. And I think with Ozzy, and Clint on the field as well, there's so much of possession. And this is almost one of those games where you're just kind of conceding possession tonight. You're not even worried about it. You're saying, you know what, if you want to pass the ball around in your own space like Kansas City is doing right now, fine. That's not going to hurt us. We're going to get numbers back in difficult areas for you to break us down, and we'll try to take advantage of the space as you push more numbers into the attack to try to entertain the home crowd, to try to get goals, and we'll see if we can hit you on the counter. And so far, the game plan has worked perfectly.
We just saw Clint Dempsey on the bench there. Brad Evans also available off the bench. You can see the possession, 65% for Sporting KC, but we know more than anybody with Sounders over the last couple of years. Possession not always the stat indicator of who's going to end up winning the game. Far from it.
I'll give you an interesting thing from the weekend. Chelsea are at home playing Watford. Watford had 54% possession at Stamford Bridge against the English champions. Possession does not win games. There's no stat that gives you an extra goal for having more possession. It's how your team's set up, how you defend, how you play on the counter. Yes, a team like Barcelona, it's different.
Zusi. Finding Feilhaber in the pocket of space. Miranda wants to go with Fisher. Comes back onto his left foot.
No space. Comes inside. There's no runs. There's no opportunity. Everything is clogged up very well. Players are marked. Sounders do their job once again defensively.
Espinosa. Back for Beasley. Zusi now coming a little bit narrower. Ball in for Illier. Espinosa now on this left-hand side. Illier and Espinosa not quite content to just knock the ball amongst themselves and wait for something to open up. And again, Brian Spencer talking to Will Bruin about exactly where he wants him positioned defensively. Opara. Another lazy ball into the ground, but luckily for him he gets there.
Yeah, you can see the frustration from Opara when he gets a ball. He's expecting, he's just looking for a simple pass, and there just isn't any simple pass. He doesn't want to necessarily just keep playing it around the back, but it's a ball in, and there's nothing left to do. And in this occasion, from almost midfield, he's got to pass it back to his goalkeeper, and that's credit to the team shape that the Sounders have put forth, the discipline they've shown. Now, where that becomes difficult is it's always more difficult running without the ball than with the ball. So you have a fitness situation as you come into the 80th minute. Can you keep your discipline when you're tired, and can your fitness keep with those runs?
Morris, pocket of space opens up. Can he go for goal? Ambitious effort from Morris. You like to see that from your strikers. They backed off him and tried to go for goal. A couple of yards over in the end though. Spencer saying you've got to see the foul first. That's an obvious one as well.
No, just kind of held him a little bit. I don't know. Nico had to fall on the ground, but I guess that was how he was going to try to get Ted Uncle's attention after Zuzi just kind of held him back a little bit.
Steve Zakuani mentioned how important Nico Ladero is in this game and moving forward for Seattle Sounders in the pregame. Steve, what have you seen so far?
You know, Keith, normally, we wax lyrical about Nico's offensive ability on the ball, but he's done a tremendous job defensively for the Sounders. His role as the number 10 has been, when Sporting Kansas City have the ball, to drop in and pick up the mismatch in the midfield. It's not 3v2 on Christian Roldan and Gustav Svensson. It's 3-on-3. And Nico has been very, very disciplined, which I can tell you, as an attacking player, does not come naturally. You can sometimes switch off, but he hasn't let his attention drop. He's done well defensively. When the ball's being lost, he's got back quickly, stuck to his task, and because of that, as you've seen, Sporting Kansas City have had no open players. They cannot find a way for the Sounders team. So, great attacking player, but he's done a great job today defensively for his team.
Yeah, Nicolas Adero works as hard as anybody on the field. There's no question about that. And because of that, he's willing to do the work without the ball, and then as soon as it breaks down, he's the first option whenever a Sounders player looks on.
And interestingly enough, he's gone over to that left-hand side now, and Morris going up front alongside Will Bruin. We'll see if that's going to be a switch they stick with going into the second half. Dwyer chasing this one, and he got there. And that pretty much sums up the half of Don Dwyer so far. He hasn't had much service. He goes out of play for the goal kick.
Well, there's no doubt that there's an issue that when your two outside backs go forward as much as Kansas City does, that you need a midfielder to go with it. And if you move in that 4-4-2, it makes it so much easier than to just those matchups as you come in. So I'll be interested to see if that goes, or if they end up switching back and kind of moving, or if it was just a case of convenience at the time.
Yeah, Will Bruin is out on that left-hand side.
That was just for the goalkeeper.
Morris. Madero inside of him. Morris trying to hold on to it. Finds Boone. Very good movement. Just a fraction offside of Madero. The ball goes into the net. That quick interchanging passing again from the Sounders, but the system referee's flag went up very early on Madero.
Yeah, I don't think there was much doubt about it. It really was a case, and you can see he's clearly offside by 2 yards. So it was, give the Sporting KC line a lot of credit. As soon as that ball got played back, they did what they needed to do. They stepped forward in the run from Madero on the return pass. A very easy play.
The part of his game that maybe goes unheralded too for Will Broom is his ability to hold the ball and link quickly as that centre forward.
Well, and that's what Brian Schmetzer wants to do, is stay that high pivot point and not necessarily drop back. Be able to 1-2 touch and let the time of the midfielder to come in and support you.
Last minute of the half, Alvaro Fernandez in a good position. Emilio with a very good save. It looks like a push on Bruin. It's going to go just wide. Super counter attack. It all started with Emil Fisher. Alvaro Fernandez brings an excellent save for Amelia, and then Bruin couldn't force it over the line.
Well, it's Kansas City doing exactly what Chicago did to the Sounders the other day. It's just gifting possession back in midfield and getting caught with numbers going forward. And this time, Sinovic is out of position, and Alvaro Fernandez almost takes advantage. A good save from Tim Melia denies the Sounders the lead before the half.
Looked like a little bit of a push from Opara as well on Bruin. Madero on the delivery. On the fall for the lane. He tries to set himself up. Instead, he plays it just out wide. And goes on with a long range hit, and that goes out off the Sporting KC man. Looks like that will be the last action of what's been a very good first 45 minutes for the Sounders.
No question about it. This is exactly what the game plan was. It was good defensively, and they replay on the corners. It falls back. Delem just sees a wide open Christian Roldan. Just tries to curl in the corner. Doesn't get really enough pace on the ball. Maybe needed a little bit more height. It is a nice, comfortable height for Amelia, but in the end forces the Kansas City goalkeeper to do another fine save.
We're joined by Seattle Sounders head coach Brian Schmetzer. Brian, no shots on goal for Sporting KC in the first half. The game going according to plan for you so far?
So far, yeah, but we just got to put one of those chances that we created for ourselves in the back of the net, and then it would be really going to plan.
I say, is it a little bit frustrating considering that you blocked in extremely well defensively, got so well out on the counterattack, had 3-4 opportunities and just couldn't quite get the lead?
That's been the storyline of the season, Casey. I'll try and address that at halftime, and we'll keep going because they've played well this first half.
Very well.
Thank you very much, Brian. Well, a very entertaining first half. We're going to take a short break. Make sure you stick around for the Amica Insurance Halftime Show with Matt Johnson and Steve Zakawani. It's 0-0 at the half.
Hello, my name is Daryl Rodlock with the Daryl Rodlock Foundation. I want to thank Sporting KC tonight for giving me the opportunity to talk about a crisis is very important to me. There are thousands of kids today that have parents, no place to live, and I am honored tonight to associate with this organization and join me in helping young girls and young boys find a home. I want to thank each one of you tonight for bringing the donations you brought for our kids. I know they're going to appreciate it. And I want to keep you involved. I want you to follow Rodlock Foundation and the things we plan in 40KC. Our community and the kids we have. All right, media, are you ready? All right, let's kick this thing out for 3, 2, 1. Ball's good. All right, let me talk about the way welcome to celebrity in this country. Here's our list. These blue jerseys, which is the people,
All right, and in your front line, KC5's Dave Logan, KSHB's Patrick Fazio, KBC's Lynn Jennings, Olavides, Carlos Chicas, and X1051's Cody Bradley. All right, and on the field, in goal, let's show Pitts for Team Lamb. In goal, Jason Lamb.
Halftime show presented by Amica Insurance, Auto, Home, Life, creating peace of mind for more than 100 years. Amica.com. Welcome back. Halftime here, Children's Mercy Park. Very entertaining first half, and Steve, a very defensively organized Sounders squad.
Defensively organized, but also very good on the counter-attack. The Sounders did tonight what teams have done to them all season. Defending, hit them on a counter-attack. The only thing missing was a goal. Superb defensive shape, defended in a low block, has been very good, and getting out on the counter, have created chances, just haven't put one in the back of the net.
Let's take a look at the Alberto beef jerky halftime highlights. Alberto, you get out what you put in. Here's an early cross from Jordan Morris looking for Will Bruin.
And that's exactly what you want from Jordan, to be the outlet on the counter-attack, gets up there, cross into the box, can't quite finish.
Nico from Bruin drives right at Tim Melia.
I have no doubt it's just on the left-hand side for Nico Lodero, ends up in the back of the net.
Another opportunity for Morris as he's getting a little bit of luck down that left-hand side.
Absolutely, and again, Jordan Morris involved in this play. Alvaro Fernandez gets in 1v1, and that's the best chance for me. So perfectly weighted pass, and if you're Alvaro Fernandez, you want that one back. The team's defended well, you got to finish that one.
We'll finish it up with Christian Roldan. A shot, Tim Melia handles, pushes to his right, but a very good effort by the Sounders here at halftime.
It is a good effort, and stats don't always tell the whole story. Today they do. That big 0 shots on goal and shots for Sporting Kansas City as the home team against a weakened Sounders man, I'd be able to say, is very disappointing for them.
Fans, don't forget to vote for your Budweiser Man of the Match by visiting the official Sounders FC app at halftime. 0-0, Seattle Sporting KC. Steve and I will be back.
Check out the new 2017 Record jersey at the Sports Foundation in the stadium. Shop during the game and during the week. The Sporting Style Pop-In Store is located in the Boulevard Vendors Club and is open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get your Sporting Style today. Deciding to drink and drive can turn a second into a lifetime of problems, like jail time, lost job opportunities, and worse. In Kansas, you drink, you drive, you lose. A message from the Kansas Department of Transportation and your local law enforcement community.
All right, we're also giving special recognition to Turco. Come on, Frank. So it's perfect timing. After 36 years, that's Tuesday over there. Frank, the recognition retirement. Thank you so much. Sporting KC Virtual Conference. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, football!
life, creating peace of mind for more than 100 years. Amica.com. Save your seat to the can't miss matches of 2017 with a 5-match pack. Enjoy 2 courtroom showdowns, a midsummer San Jose match, an LA Galaxy head-to-head, and finish with the final match of the season against the Colorado Rapids. 5-match packs start at $150. To buy yours today, visit SoundersFC.com/tickets. Let's take a look around the scoreboard here, Steve. Philadelphia beating Houston. That's a big result for us in the West. 2-0. Chicago 1-0 in Colorado at halftime. Real Salt Lake, they continue to have problems scoring. They are down in the 24th minute to NYC FC 1-0. UPS Store. Now it's time to take a look at the UPS Store second half solutions. Steve, your thoughts?
For the Sounders, it's more of the same. Defend as you have been and get out on the counter-attack. That's what's worked well so far. And there are so many examples of how they've done a good job. When Sporting Kansas City have gotten out wide, the Sounders have had bodies in the box. It's Benny Feilheimer, one of the most dangerous players in the league, shut down by Chad Marshall. Even when the Sounders haven't been together, Jordan and them getting caught out there, you have 4, 5, 6 guys in the box ready to defend. Dom Dwyer hasn't had a sniff. Why? Gets the ball, takes the touch, 3 guys around him, and the Sounders defend. And what does that lead to? Good defending creates good offense. Stephen Fry gets the ball up, Will Green battles, Nico Ladero does what he does, and here's where I want to see Jordan Morris. Facing the opposition's goal, gets forward, very unlucky with a cross, but that's what the Sounders must do second half.
Great job by the Sounders defensively. It's time to take a break when we come back in the second half. 0-0 here at halftime, Children's Mercy Park.
Hey, Sporting fans, I'm coming up. Today, I'm giving away an Ice Coca-Cola to the best fans in the world. Today, the minimum order is set from 130, row 29. Enjoy this one on me.
Wait, he's got to go. March only twice.
All right, 15 seconds left in the media game. 15 seconds.
There's no way he's going to
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's time. Sporting Blue is your winner of this year's Media Soccer Day. SeatGeek is the official ticketing provider of Sporting KC. SeatGeek makes it easier than ever to buy, share, and sell tickets to every SKC home game. Download the SeatGeek app tonight. Sporting fans, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price every Sporting Match Day using promo code SKC Online at PapaJohns.com. Sporting Kansas City fans, the Carol Wilmot Foundation wants you to know that there are many ways that you can get involved with helping children in foster care.
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. No goals after 45 minutes, but a very interesting first 45 minutes. No shots on goal for Sporting KC, so defensively the game plan plan going according to plan for Brian Spencer. What have you seen attacking-wise from the Sounders overall in the first 45 minutes?
Well, the attack started because of the defensive shape. We talked about it in the pregame. What do they need to change from the Chicago game the other day? And I just kept reiterating, defensive shape. Just start with a good, clean defensive shape. And because of that, they made it so difficult for Chicago to find space in the midfield that actually opened up opportunities on the counterattack.
Well, to your point, here's some of the moments that you picked out in the first half. What in particular about this, and what players have held on to their jobs and done it well in the first 45 minutes?
You're a little bit staggered. So we talked about in the Chicago game how one pass beat everybody. Well, one pass isn't going to beat everybody here. Defensive midfielders are marking players in the area. What I also liked was a little look over the shoulder from Jordy Delem. So he's tucked in to help in the inside, but also keeping an eye on Seth Sinovic coming out on that side, who's the least dangerous player where he is at that point in time. So overall, a really great team effort defensively, and then understanding that as Sporting Kansas City gets more frustrated, tried to force balls into the midfield, they were able to win second balls as players were pushed up, and had really the better chances, comfortably the better chances to get goals on the counterattack.
Quick thought on that new defensive midfield partnership of Christian Roldan and Gustav Svensson. No Alonso, we were worried about it, but how have they done?
No, it's been great because I think both of them understand it's not a game where you're really going to dictate possession and understand that you're going to worry about that side of it. You're just going to do your defensive duties with second balls in the midfield and support the attacking.
The second half kick is brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh. And it is Sporting KC who tip off with Sinovic. And the ball back for Beasler. We do have to look from both sides of things. Casey, what would the message have been from Peter Vermees to try and counter what the Sounders have done so well so far?
Well, it has to be more movement up front. I mean, with that many numbers around you, you have to find better space. The space isn't going to be available for you just to move into. And so, and then it has to be creative on your possession when you do have the ball. Don't allow the Sounders an opportunity just to bunker in. Make those runs inside out runs. You've already seen one already from Don Dwyer that you didn't see in the first half.
Both times dealt with very comfortably by Alfaro. You saw on the first one, Dwyer complaining to the assistant referee that there was a lot of contact, but we have a very good vantage point here, and it looked a very good challenge from Alfaro. Looking to bounce back after a difficult performance at the weekend, not just for him, but the entire team. And so far, he's Marshall, one of the top strikers in the league, very well indeed.
And these are the situations that you're more than happy with. You win possession back, and you just say to Kansas City, if you want to pass the ball back into your own half and pass the ball around, we're more than comfortable to let you do that.
Zusi tries to play the ball in behind. This time it does get through Fisher, but once again Alfaro well positioned. Not too much space in between the two defenders.
Well, and that's that inside-out run that you didn't see in the first half very often. You had one at the end of the match where Dom Dwyer, or the end of the first half, where Dom Dwyer kind of mistrapped the ball out of bounds. But otherwise, they were so stagnant in the middle that it was so easy for Tony Alfaro and Chad Marshall to mark them because there was just no movement.
Chad Marshall on this set piece. I mentioned his quick-fire 4 goals last season. Always a threat when he goes forward as well. Brian Spencer telling us earlier when he looked at the initial fixture list, he pinpointed this perhaps as one where he could rest Marshall, but how other injuries have gone, and then he was forced to play him today.
Well, he had a little bit of a rest, obviously, when he missed 3-4 games when he was recovering back. Not exactly a rest, but you know what I mean. So I think that all kind of goes into the mindset of Spencer, and also it was just a battle of attrition and just had so many
room with a effort that took a deflection. Didn't look like it had that much pace on it initially. It goes through Familia.
Yeah, and now Familia was able to recover before it goes out of bounds for the Sounders corner. But yeah, it was just a battle of attrition for the Sounders on the training bench right now. Just Roman Torres still out for maybe a couple more weeks, and then losing Ozzy.
And of course you got Gold Cup coming up as well.
Yeah, and then the suspension to Jovan Jones also meant that they had to shift things around a little bit. So no chance for Chad Marshall to take a break tonight.
It's tough summer for teams with international players, and you'd imagine the Sounders will have at least a couple of players called up to Gold Cup duty with their respective national teams. Ladero inside for Fernandez. Svensson dropping in a lot like Ilie had been for Sporting KC. Alfaro, Bruin. Alfaro tries to play the ball in behind. It wasn't a great delivery, and Opara just allows it to run through for Tim Melia.
Keep it a little bit, Tony.
And the message, as you might have heard in the background from Brian Spencer, let's keep it, Tony.
That's it. Obviously, the tape was watched from Chicago, because that ball that you just saw today, that was very comfortable for Chad Marshall on that run, was where Nikolic the other day was looking so dangerous, kind of drifting into that space. When you don't have pressure in midfield, you have to drop. Chad Marshall drops exactly how he should have, and in the end, it was a comfortable play where he was able to keep possession for the Sounders.
Ladero had two looks up, initially wanted to find Morris, then looked at Bruin. He just wanted to just keep possession and allow his team to move up defensively. Alfaro, good ball from him inside for Bruin. That one comes off Madranda, who was back in defending. Zusi manages to weave his way past both Ladero and Bruin. Dwyer, Madranda, Joseph staying out wide on that left-hand side. Sinovic making a run further forward. And do well to keep that in. He does keep it in, and manages to find Joseph Fernandez as well. Nutmeg on Roldan, but good cover defending once again. Anytime one of the Sounders players has been in difficulty defensively, there's always been a teammate there to cover up.
And a lot of it has been because Kansas City's had a lot of the ball deeper in midfield, but once they break that initial pressure, there's not a lot of support for Dom Dwyer up front. And so when one guy goes up, and that time it was Joshan who's over out wide, Sinovic had already started dropping back. I don't know if that was because the Sounders have been as successful as they have on the counterattack, where Sporting Kansas City just has to respect that as much as they have. And so then they just don't want to push the numbers all the way high.
Espinosa almost losing possession again to Morris, who's gone as the furthest forward man. Bruin out this left-hand side does well. Read that big switch for Zusi.
Just perfect spacing. You know, it had to be a perfect ball to Zusi. And if he Bruin would have been right on him on the first touch. In the end, he's able to knock the ball out and just continue to frustrate Kansas City's attack.
Opara. Again, not the greatest of service from Ike Opara. Ilie wins it back. Marshall. You got the sense in that first 45 minutes, Sporting KC were very frustrated going forward, and it hasn't changed to start this second half. Morris. Ladero. Again, looking for Morris.
He was looking for the run, and Morris wanted the ball to his feet. And I think when you're Nicholas Ladero and you're looking at the pace of Jordan Morris, you're just saying, just start running, son. Just run. Don't even worry about checking to the ball. And a little bit of a mix-up between the two.
Well, the Sounders only have one goal in the last 5 regular season meetings with Sporting KC, and that one coming in September 2015. Obafemi Martins was the goal scorer that day. The goal scorer in the playoffs last season was Nelson Valdez. He's also no longer with the club. In an interesting rivalry between the two teams. Sporting KC won the first match and then went 9 without victory against the Sounders, but currently on a 5-game regular season unbeaten streak. Melia finds Zusi. Failhaber. Again, having to drop very deep to get any kind of touches on the ball. Zusi still goes, gets around Fisher, gets his cross in, and the Lamb very connected with his centre-backs once again with the defensive header. Espinosa from distance. He has been known to score a goal or two from there, but that one well over. That is actually Sporting KC's very first shot of the match.
It was just patience from Graham Zusi. Able to just get a little bit better, little stutter step, gets around Fisher. It's a good cross. But look at the numbers of Sporting KC players in the box. Nobody making any run to the far post. Delem is tucked in. Nobody challenged him. It's a simple clearance, and in the end, it's a hopeful shot from distance from Roger Espinoza.
Well, you can discover the adventures Seattle has to offer with the 2017 Jeep Cherokee, featuring an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. Visit your local Jeep dealer today. Didn't look very comfortable as that ball bounced over his head. Under a little bit of pressure from Nico Ladero, and Will Broom staying on this left-hand side, so he's almost taking it in shifts to do the defensive work. Dwyer with a good run in behind Marshall.
With very little support. Marshall does a good job, tracks with him the whole way, understands that he doesn't want to just concede a foul for no reason. Back turned, facing the sideline, facing the end line. Concedes a corner for his efforts, but good defending from Chad Marshall on Dwyer.
When you think of the career that Chad Marshall has already put together in MLS and at the national team level, hard to believe that he's still so unsung as a defender. Corner kick delivered in. Fly with a very good save. Slack marking from the Sounders, almost punished.
Yeah, for the first time, just a little bit of a mix-up. Parra just kind of drops off. Flick had difficult to generate enough pressure from the penalty spot going backwards. As you can see on the replay, straight down the throat of Stephen Fry. Just has to raise his arm up, tips it over the bar. But smart save from the Sounders goalkeeper.
We mentioned though Fred on set pieces, Lenny Feilhaber, one of the most creative players in the league, no doubting that. Comes across again to get on this one. Joseph Fernandez wanting it played short. Feilhaber instead goes to the near post. My call for Joseph Fernandez.
For the Sounders. Really just a little bit of sustained pressure from a couple corners from an initial good inside out run from Dom Dwyer. And then it's a good ball into a dangerous area. It's not cleared, but then somehow with two Sounders players rolled in and Morris challenging, it looked like too long of a touch to begin with, and somehow Jershon Fernandez is able to squeeze the ball through Christian Roldan in off that inside post to give Sporting Kansas City maybe not the most deserving lead. But that's what you do when you don't punish teams. First half Sounders, 2-3 opportunities to punish a team, get on the front foot, keep a team hanging around. Then some adjustments at halftime in Kansas City take advantage.
O'Neal Fisher with some contact. Redunda staying on the ground and he's pulling up his jersey as if to say there's a mark on his stomach.
That's just a good tackle.
But when we talked to Brian Smetzer earlier on today, we said, what are some of the things you have to avoid against Sporting KC? And he says, you cannot give them a lead, because when they have a lead, they're a very difficult team to break down. Well, they have that lead.
Yeah, I mean, it really, it's tough because it's a good near post run, but that was just too big of a touch. You thought it was done. And then somehow, Jershon just is able to squeeze it through Roldan. Maybe just nicks the inside of the post. Very frustrating, I'm sure, for Brian Schmetzer and the boys on the field.
How does it change the game plan?
I don't think it does. I think everything's been perfect. You can't now just open up and at this stage, look, in the 80th minute, maybe that changes, but right now, just keep it the same, keep frustrating Kansas City, try to quiet the crowd down a little bit now. The crowd were not in this game as Sporting Kansas City, as you mentioned, the first half didn't have a shot.
And Redunda gets there ahead of Fisher, tries to cross towards the near post, gets it to the Sounders.
And that's exactly what you can't do. So for the first time, O'Neal Fisher just getting caught a little bit. Medranda puts a fantastic ball into the area. So this ball, this time, just smash it into the 10th row. Just defend, son. Madranda puts the ball in. Gershon, and then unfortunately, lucky rebound off the post. But this is not what the Sounders needed to start this second half. Marshall with the clearance off of Gershon. On the replay, you could see O'Neal Fisher keeping everybody on side, but that's just the play you can't afford. And it wasn't anywhere near that in the first half. Everybody was concentrated. Everybody cleared their lines when they needed to, defended when they needed to, and just a little lapse of concentration. And from a very comfortable first half, that very familiar Sounders on the road this year being 2-0 down.
An incredible few minutes after what was a very positive beginning to the second half as well. Sporting KC, Joseph Fernandez brought in for moments like that. 2 goals from him. We're now going to bring in the other member of the broadcast team, Steve Zakuani. Steve, what have you seen to start this second half? How did the Sounders turn things around again?
You know, right before that second goal, I was going to make the point that what was lost at the weekend in that devastating loss to Chicago Fire was actually how the Sounders responded well to that opening goal from the Fire and came back with a goal of their own through Clint Dempsey. And I wanted to see that kind of response. Of course, conceding a second goal isn't that. But now at 2-0 down, do you completely cover up and go down 3, 4-0, 5-0? Or do you roll your sleeves up and try and get one and plug away, win the next 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes after that? So the response from the Sounders team has to be a positive one. You try and get back into this game. You don't allow yourself to suffer another heavy defeat in such a short space of time.
Thank you, Steve. Well, another man sitting down very close to Steve right now, watching the match progress and unfold as Clint Dempsey. You imagine he'll become an option for Brian Spencer. But you mentioned that 1-0, you don't change things too much. At 2-0, does it remain the same, or the Sounders have to be a little bit more adventurous? Here they go forward and really trying to get in behind.
Usually that's just enough just to put Bruin off, but there was a little half chance when you saw Gershon gets the benefit of the bounce off of the clearance, and that time just doesn't fall to Will Bruin the way he needed it. It's a long throw, it's a little bit of a mistake, and somehow Beasley tries to nick it in front, but comes around and just clicks it a little bit from behind, does just enough. But there's the benefit of the bounce off of Apara, and then Beasley just doing enough to deny Will Bruin an opportunity to get him back.
Marshall rolled on. Morris has it again. Rolled on going further forward. Fisher pass towards the far post, might be just too much on it, and neither is, and it will be out for the goal kick. But in terms of personnel, in terms of the shape of the team, they need to be a little bit more adventurous now?
A little bit, but not yet. I mean, they've still created chances. In fact, they just almost created a chance right there to Will Bruin from a throw. But don't open up so early and give away a third goal and put this game beyond reach. So as it stands right now, keep prodding, keep trying to find a way back in the match. At 2-0, you're still in it. They've shown so many times this year the ability to come back. But don't throw it all away by trying to get everything all at once. Lots of time left.
We said earlier, possession isn't always the greatest indicator of the team that will go on and win the game. Sometimes the scoreboard isn't the greatest indicator of how the game has gone so far, but Sounders have to bounce back after conceding those 2 quick-fire goals from Joseph. Opala looking for the ball towards Dwight. A strong header from Marshall. Madranda, Fair Harbour. A bit more space there for Espinosa. Tries to go wide for Joseph again. All of a sudden, the attacking winger has really come to the fore in this second half.
Yes, Juso's completely woken up. I mean, it was the first half, there was no space for him. I was watching him on tape and just saying he really loves to take players one-on-one, and there was no opportunity for him to take players on. And now all of a sudden, as things open up a little bit in this second half.
Well, it's opening up here for Morris. He's got 2 out wide of him. Hernandez comes inside on the left foot. Amelia takes it in at the second attack. There was a good overlap as well from Deleb. And that was good attacking play from the Sounders.
And again, and that's why there's no reason to really open up too much, because the opportunities have come. Kansas City's going to try to play a little bit more, maybe take another risk. I don't know why they would, but that's just their nature. They just push their two outside backs forward, even right now with this lead. Their two outside backs, high, wide up the field, completely spreading themselves defensively.
You can tell he's a fan favorite here as well. Joseph Fernandez, every time he gets the ball, they're on the feet. Modero finds hold on. Alfaro. We have been in this situation before, Sounders fans. We've seen very spirited fight backs against the New England Revolution and Montreal Impact as well.
Well, and even in Vancouver, clearance off the line to find the equalizer after 2-0 down. Houston, the opening game of the season at 2-0 down, got to 2-1. Sounders were pushing at the end of the match, unlucky not to find an equalizer.
Zusi comes inside, Sinovic with a little bit of space. Dwyer on the far post, stares out wide. Sinovic just took too long on it, allowed Delem to come out, and it was good cover defensively from Jordi Delem.
Yeah, it's a first-time cross. Sinovic knows it, knows he should have put the ball in first time after he took the touch. Sounders had all the time to get back into better defensive positions and block the cross. But again, it's another corner. A series of corners led to the first goal. Benny Frauhaber in no hurry to go overtake it now with the 2-0 lead.
How things change.
Yes, they do. Well, even from the atmosphere. At 0-0, no shots first half. This crowd was completely out of this match. Sounders did exactly what they needed. And now those two quick goals and this crowd's alive.
Frauhaber. So nobody in particular at the edge of the box. Gustav Svensson reads it, but then needlessly gives the ball back to Sporting KC. Dwyer towards the back post. Ryan has to take it in at the second attempt. Opara, the flag had actually gone up against Ike Opara. Score lines around MLS right now. Real Salt Lake being held 1-1 by New York City FC. So potentially another Western Conference rival going to drop points, we would hope. And that, of course, is the next opponents for the Seattle Sounders this Saturday. Essentially, big matchup at two sides in desperate need of points.
You talk about teams at the top of the league, comparison to teams at the bottom of the league. Across the globe, Sporting Kansas City, for their standards this season, have a very poor first half. Sounders frustrated them. Everything Sounders does, they just made it difficult. Tamelia in goal has to make a couple saves, a couple opportunities. Sounders on the counterattack, doesn't quite work out. So you keep yourself at 0-0. Now you come in at home, you make some adjustments at halftime, and you find a way. Sounders struggle a little bit at the bottom of the table, have a great first half, chances to score goals, don't take advantage of the chances, come in the second half, find a way how to concede a goal on a corner that never looked like it had any chance of going in, and you're chasing the game.
Well, gets in front of Alfaro and feels like he's won a free kick, tries to take it quickly. It's been a fascinating battle between young Tony Alfaro and Dom Dwyer.
And Dwyer is one of those players that isn't worried about having 40, 50 touches a match. He'll try to link up every once in a while, but he's all about being on the score sheet and making things difficult for opponents.
Joseph Fernandez finding a little bit of space at the edge of the box again. That one blasted well over. And as the Sounders do have to open up and push forward, more gaps will appear for Benny Feilhaber and co. Fry again pushing his side forward. 22 and a half minutes left in this one. And that looked like a push from Sinovic. Alvaro Fernandez wins the free kick. Roldon's going to leave it for Ladero. Let's see what the Uruguayan can conjure up from this one. He has a chance to go short. Delem's gone out wide. He finds him. Can Delem deliver? Cross towards the edge of the box. It wasn't a great delivery.
Yeah, you've seen the frustration now as this second half progresses. As both Jordi Delem and O'Neal Fisher get more into the attack, the frustration with a couple missed touches, a couple poor crosses. That's just youth and experience, frustration, knowing that the first half just went as everything was planned. Then the second half, it's just crumbled a little bit.
Throw in towards Alvaro Fernandez. Madero, and he loses out. Chance to break here for Sporting KC. On Dwyer, a lot of space. He's got options on that left-hand side. Gerso holds it up, and Sanders get back in defensively, but Sporting KC still have it. Fairharbour. Zusi gets in a good position. Zusi pulls it back. Gerso! Well, he's been the star man of the second half, and Sounders have had no answer.
Well, we talked about the first half where there was absolutely no space. This is the exact opposite. This is space all over the field. Bunch of numbers coming back, but nobody marking anybody. Look at how switches play. Zusi comes in, cuts it back to midfield. Nobody marking Gerso. Runs in from the penalty spot, wide open. Look at all the space on the field that was not there in the first half. And the Sounders get punished once again.
It's hard to remember such a turnaround in terms of one half to the next this season. It's so good in the first half, and it's gone so wrong so far in this second half. 3-0 down. Gerso, 2 goals in MLS coming into today. Ryan Spencer did point him out. He said he's been very impressed with him, and he's lived up to that feeling with a hat trick.
Which is funny because he hasn't done what I thought he was going to do today. When I looked at him, I thought, what's he going to do? He's going to be taking players on to the wing. No, he's actually being the support man, coming in off the wing and getting himself a good goal-scoring opportunities, which is also a very good trait. But I just hadn't seen that in his play so far this season.
Harry Shipp is getting ready to enter the fray. I wonder if that third goal changes the game plan in terms of Clint Dempsey, or maybe a look towards the weekend. Ryan Spencer did say he might try to get some minutes tonight for Brad Evans as well, to just help him continue his progress towards being a 90-minute man again this season. Gerso staying very wide. Dwyer on the far side. He's trying to look at his face on Dwyer. Fisher has to get back in. And that is a goal-saving challenge from Anil Fisher. Then it's given away. Fairharbour. Sanders falling apart here at the back. There's Penosa. Space for him, and he tries to just toe punt it, and Alfaro takes him in the side of the face, and that one blasted well over. What a couple of moments, and what a sequence that is.
Well, look at what we talked about the first half. Where's Jordy DeLem? Jordy DeLem in the first half, very disciplined. O'Neal Fisher, very disciplined in their positioning. Now in the second half, you go down. Now you start pushing forward, and it's just opening up that space that we saw the Chicago Fire do such a good job of exploiting the Sounders defensively with.
Gustav Svensson is the man sacrificed. Harry Shipp, a more attack-minded player. 10th appearance of the season for Harry Shipp. He's had 6 starts on the campaign. A player that, when he does play wide, likes to come inside, so perhaps has struggled for time a little bit because very similar to other players on the field. It was interesting, when that third goal went in, it was Jordan Morris who ran back and got the ball out and brought it back for the tip-off. He wants this game to continue. He wants his side to get back into it. Lucy. Dwyer. Good skill from Dwyer. Pedranda. Ilie. Sinovic. A little bit more of a tempo now to the passing from Sporting KC. Confidence is high. Zusi. Okada. Espinosa. Beasley goes all the way back to Amelia. Oh, might have flicked off on Anil Fisher. Indeed it did, and there'll be a Sporting KC throw in. See another change in a couple of moments. So Shea Adekoya is going to come in. Former UCLA man, 3 seasons as a Bruin. Good goal scoring record at college level. Zusi, the creator of the third goal, comes forward again. Still he goes. Zusi with the cross, and Alfaro has to cut it out. And Alfaro not happy with how far Zusi was allowed to come into the box initially.
Well, it started again. It's Zusi being able to come all the way down. You would expect whoever that outside midfielder is, if it's Jordan Morris at times, we've seen other players shift around to that wide, but you don't expect the outside back to get all the way forward to take on the other outside back on that same side. So I can understand where there's a little frustration centrally.
Feilhaber comes out for Zusi. Feilhaber stares out wide, nobody closing him down. Ball played in again, Gersa finding a little bit of space. Again he calls an effort. This time it's right at Fry. It's slack marking off a set piece once again for the Sounders.
It is. I mean, there's obviously areas in the locker room. This is your man. This is your man. This is your man off of set pieces, and it's just a little bit of movement, and a little lapse of concentration. And Sporting Kansas City almost fashioned something out of nothing.
Bruin goes for Fisher. Back for Bruin. O'Para. Roldan will have it. And them offering width on the right-hand side. Instead he finds Jordan Morris, who's stayed in that central role since the Sounders have conceded. Fisher. Ball pulled back for Harry Shipp. Morris. Roldan. Ladero. Morris in behind. He picks up a very good position, but the onside flag was very quick to be raised by the assistant referee.
Yeah, but that's better. I mean, I say every time, I want Jordan Morris. Yeah, you can just see, just drifts that little bit offside by a good 3 yards. But that's the idea, right? Be off that last shoulder, try to get that time.
To make those runs.
Yes, you're going to miss it every once in a while. You're going to be a little bit offside. That's okay. I have no problem with that. And I'll repeat that every night. Because you'll get it right and you'll get a goal. And then you force the defense to worry about you running in behind. Last thing defenders want to see is the back of a player getting through. If the timing is just right, you have a great chance to score a goal. That time just a little bit off.
That was his last action. Shea Adekoya, his very first MLS appearance. He did appear in a friendly against Necaxa. But big moments for him, even if the side is 3-0 down. A player who had the potential to perhaps go a year earlier. But wanted to stay one more year as a Bruin before finally signing that homegrown deal. We are going to see Brad Evans in a couple of moments as well. So not quite 20 minutes for him, but a positive sign to see him coming back into the fold ahead of a stretch of fixtures.
Next chance, Joe! Yeah, and that's just about getting the right numbers fit, good competition for places, get back to doing what the Sounders do best, being difficult to break down. As we saw in the first half, just being difficult, being hard to score, be dangerous. Brad Evans, I wonder if they're going to switch around a little bit, and it looks like, yeah, Jordan Williams going to come over to the left side, and Brad Evans is going to go to Brad.
And Brian Spencer told us that today. I said, what position will Brad Evans play this season? And he said, the game plan has always been for Evans to be the right back.
Oh, there's no question. Brad Evans, on multiple occasions, played that role very, very well for the U.S. national team, and I see no reason why he can't do that, particularly in a team that loves to keep possession. You know, he was a very effective outside midfielder in those first couple seasons.
Central midfield, center back, he's played.
Yeah. He's a player that can play all the way around the field, but I really like him at that right back spot. And I think if he can stay fit, he can be a huge addition to try to turn this season around.
Harry Shipp in for Roldan. Ladero. Delem. Back for Roldon. Looking for that very narrow ball through for Will Bruin. That ball will go out of play. We've been scratching our heads as to what's happened in this second half so far, and we're going to get down to Steve Zakawani and see if he has the answer. Steve.
You know, Keith, the only thing that's happened in the second half has been the same chances the Seattle Sounders created in the first half and didn't take. Sporting Kansas City have taken theirs. In this league, when the teams are so evenly matched, especially away from home, you have to take the chances. And Kansas City have been better than Seattle in the attacking 18-yard box. That's it. That's the difference. KC have taken their chances, but credit to Seattle at 2-0. The message from the bench was still very positive. Dempsey was getting ready to come on. Then that third goal goes in, and now there's no way back. Now you're seeing the likes of Brad Evans and Shea coming on, really just to get a run out.
Interesting. We did think that might have changed the thought process for Brian Smith, so we thought at some stage we'd see Clint Dempsey, but at 3-0.
I guarantee you, if Will Bruin had just got that ball under control before Matt Beasley just knocked it away and had taken advantage and scored, then you definitely would have seen Clint Dempsey on the field.
Another break here. Joseph Fernandez has to come back on that left foot once more. Pulls it back at the edge of the box. So he must have ordered a defensive midfielder in a more advanced position. Fail Harbour trying to find Espinosa. Will go in favour of the Sounders. Fail Harbour, an interesting story. Was out of contract in the off-season, was mulling a few offers from overseas as well, but Sporting Kansas City managed to hold on to him. Been a big part of their success over recent seasons.
Yeah, Benny Morello's players that had kind of done the World Tour thing earlier in his career.
Israel,
Germany, England, Israel, really trying to, some of the Scandinavian countries, really just trying to find a home, and it's going to come back to MLS and rejuvenated his career. After a couple of moves, I think he was in New England for a while, and then ends up here under Peter Vermes, and is really done an excellent job in helping the Sporting Kansas City team be as strong as they have been.
Shea Adekoya trying to get across on that near post. He made contact with it, but it's blasted well wide, and it'll be a goal kick. Well, the best soccer fans deserve the best health plan. Premier Blue Cross, your hometown health plan for 84 years. There's some big matches coming up for the Sounders. Real Salt Lake. Timbers matchup, and then again on the road at Columbus Crew. You have the Gold Cup coming up as well, where you're going to lose some players, so you're a real test of character over the next couple of weeks for the Seattle Sounders.
And I think we were talking about in that home stretch too, with Atlanta and New England, that it was okay. You know, some home games where you're thinking, go get some points. Toronto, go and.
That's when it really hurts, when you don't pick up the home points.
Is when you have those 3 games and you pick up 2 points out of those 3 games, where you think, okay, we'll come here, difficult place to play, have a little bit of a mistake, had a good first half, things didn't go right.
Langston has this one, gets in behind, perhaps should have pulled it back for Bruin. He's not happy with the fullback's decision. Well, it all came from his own strong work to win the ball back.
Yeah, it's a good run. Just gets in behind Graham Zuzi this time. Good first touch. Does a good job. Good strength. The power overcommits. And yeah, you see Will Bruin just wide open, 10-yard job with a little bit of cutback. And that's where young players, you have to have that little bit of composure, particularly when they get higher up the field, to be able to recognize, do I have a good angle to shoot? Do I not? Is somebody else in a better spot?
Well, the ovation is for Jose Hernandez. When he played his ball, didn't he?
And he was a player that I really felt today was going to do a job wide, and really it's been central. He's been that support role as Zuzi's had the opportunity to come in, get on the end of cutbacks, but the tenacity for the second goal was impressive. But it is, when Dom Dwyer has a chance, but when it's not a team right now in this Sporting Kansas City that's reliant on one person to get goals. Even in the last weekend, Dom Dwyer suspended.
The man who came on,
comes in, scores 2 goals. So it is, and then now today, Yerso's able to score the goals. Maybe another time it's going to be Opara on a set piece, or it's going to be Feilhaber from distance, or so it is. It's a very well-balanced Kansas City team right now, which the Sounders gave all kinds of trouble in the first half, and then somehow have found a way to fall apart a little bit here in the second.
Evans, good pass. Melia again electing to punch. Rolled on very calm as he was closed down by two players. And Evans just plays it out of play on that far side. Latif Blessing, just 20 years of age. It was his very first start at the weekend. And he scored two very good goals. So maybe a little bit unlucky not to get the start today.
Well, two very good goals from about 2 yards each. I mean, it was really a case of just working hard, getting yourself in good positions to little crosses, little rebounds, and knock things in. But that's what good goal scorers do. They get themselves in good positions in this area. And so, another option for Peter Vermes that he'll be very happy to have.
I have a good friend called Robbie Fowler who would argue with you that every goal is a good goal.
Every goal is a good goal. And I'll tell you, Robbie Fowler, every time, I mean, he's one of those guys that every young striker should kind of watch the tape of Robbie Fowler. Every time I played against Robbie Fowler, and I caught a ball, the first person standing over, just waiting for me to lose it, to just lose possession and knock in easy one was Robbie Fowler. And that's the effort and the mentality every time.
The yellow card produced there, as you can see, from Ted Uncle. Another difficult game, particularly in the second half. We said no shots at halftime for Sporting KC. They rattled off 10 in the second half, 5 of them on goal, 3 of them in the back of the net. Latif Blessing on the turn, he does have pace. One of those canny pickups. Mustafa. Back for Zusi. Movement in the box from Dwyer, and Evans just comes across and clears the danger. Rolled on. And luckily for him, it gets back to him. It wasn't a great pass to Evans.
No, I don't think he had any idea that Benny Feilhaber was there. I thought he was just going to swoop it out to Evans to keep possession, and very fortunate the ball isn't intercepted.
Rolled on. Finds Bruin. Good first touch from Bruin. A little bit of space away from the defender. Cuts back towards the edge of the box. Tries to thread that ball through for Ladero. And Zusi had positioned himself well defensively. Now a chance for a counter-attack. Shea chasing down Blessing, and he does well, just forcing him into the pressure of Delem, and there's Latif Blessing with the final touch. Well, it hasn't been an easy road trip, Casey. How did the Sounders bounce back this weekend?
Okay, you just got to look at the first half. In the first half, the game plan, and then just the problem is when then you can see the goal, which happens. I mean, it wasn't even that big of a deal. It was cleared at the near post. It was a really, players were coming to close down, and sometimes the ball just finds its way into the back of the net. But then it was the collapse afterwards, and I think that was the disappointment. Is at 1-0, there were still plenty of chances that the Sounders, they ruled their chances in the first half. But then at 1-0, even it's like, just calm down, keep it at 1. But it's been a little bit of a worrying trend, is conceding goals in bunches at times and not keeping that concentration for 90 minutes.
Ladero, Alvaro Fernandez out wide of him. Fernandez has it, cross back towards Bruin. Good defending from Beasley. Rolled on, will he go for goal from distance? Good challenge from Mustafa, and now the break is on. Feilhaber, Dwyer out wide on this right-hand side. Latif Blessing making a good run. From Dwyer, stays onside. One with the goalkeeper in. He was on his left foot, tried to curl it around Fry. Easy save in the end by Stefan Fry.
Yeah, that's what you get in the 87th minute when you're down 3-0. Pushing numbers forward, a little tired to get back. Don't have the same motivation to run 60, 70 yards to stop a counterattack.
Blessing, he's shown some nice touches since he's come on, the youngster. Danny Saloy is getting ready to come on. Hungarian-born homegrown product for Sporting KC. Young striker, just 20 years of age. She moved to the United States in August of 2014. initially as an exchange student before staying over here. Blessing trying to get on the end. There's a good challenge from Alfaro.
It's a pretty broad interpretation of the homegrown.
Not too many homegrown Sporting KC players from Hungary.
Correct.
Benny Harbour is replaced. Your thoughts on his performance?
Right, actually. You know, I mean, obviously the corner set piece good job, but for his standard, the Sounders did a good job for the majority of the game of making it difficult for him.
So I actually played for Újpest in Budapest at the U16, U17 and under 21 levels. National team as well. Well done in possession. Brad Evans wide on that right hand side. Ship finds Ladero. Well done. Evans. Hearing there's going to be a minimum of 2 additional minutes stoppage time before the Sounders fall to a difficult defeat here at Children's Mercy Park. Rebound quickly at the weekend back home against Real Salt Lake. Well played across, and Okoye, well positioned. Neil Feely should have done better on that one.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed. Excellent ball into the area, and also just as it opens up space, Ike Apara just completely loses the fire of the ball. Okoye drifts in from 7-8 yards and hits the ball straight at the
There's the delivery from Oldon. And then a right at the goalkeeper. Continue Real Salt Lake in action against New York City FC tonight. I understand last time I heard they were up by 2-1. Beating Colorado by 3-0 as well. Big matchups tonight in MLS play. Ilie Dwyer out on his right. Dwyer on his left foot, tries to go for goal. Ambitious effort from Dom Dwyer.
Yeah, it just hasn't been his best night tonight. Wearing a little bit of a sleeve on his left knee. I don't know if there's something bothering him or not, but just didn't look like it to have the pace as he normally has. Poor touch when he was through. But fortunately enough for Sporting Kansas City tonight, they haven't needed him at his best.
Delem. We'll talk a lot more about this in the post game. The Sounders once again conceding multiple goals in a match. Again, a rejigged back four. Just like against New England Revolution, concede 3 times. This time, no comeback. Rolled on. Sporting KC just dropping off now, allowing Alfaro possession. He delivers towards Bruin. Mustavar has it. Mustavar chased down by Shea Adekoya. Latif Blessing has it. Back from Mustavar. Ilie. Zusi. Goes for Sanovic, and that should just about do it. Ted Uncle looks at his watch and blows the final whistle. A disappointing night for the Sounders. It started brightly, but Joseph Hernandez solo act in the second half means it's Sporting KC who pick up the 3 points. KC, your overall thoughts?
Yeah, it was once again, it's a tale of 2 halves. It's the Sounders in the first half do exactly everything they needed to do. Discipline, worked hard, made it difficult for Sporting Kansas City to have any kind of space in the attack, created opportunities on the counterattack, didn't take advantage of those opportunities, left it wide open for Kansas City to make adjustments in the second half. And even then, at the start, first 10 minutes, it wasn't that big of a deal. They scored on a corner that was just frustrating. It was just one of those balls that sometimes it just falls the right place. But then it was how they collapsed after that. That was the disappointing side of it. And then in the end, a little bit fortunate that they kept it at only a 3.
Well, tonight's player of the match is presented by Alcatel, the official smartphone partner of Sounders FC. It is the first goal. We knew how pivotal it would be to get that opening goal in the match, and it was Joseph Fernandez.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a ball whipped at the near post, and it was a unsighted Christian Roldan. Can't really clear it all the way, and it falls to do so, but there's still a lot to do. You got two players rushing him, and just somehow finds a way through to that near post. Sounders just couldn't come back.
Well, the final score tonight from Kansas City, Sporting KC 3, Seattle Sounders 0. If you missed part of the match or want to watch it again, tune in to Root Sports tonight at 10:30 p.m. Right now, stick around for the post-match show presented by our local Toyota dealers. Coming up next on Joe TV. By Redapt, your Northwest IT solutions and global systems integrator. More info at redapt.com. By McDonald's of Western Washington. Now on match days, get a free breakfast sandwich with any purchase when you download the app. McDonald's, the official breakfast of Sounders FC. By Home Street Bank. There's no place like Home Street. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And by Jeep. Reach the peak of efficiency with the 2017 Jeep Cherokee and its EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. Visit your local Jeep dealer today. Sounders FC post-match show presented by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. A difficult day at Children's Mercy Park today for the Sounders. The final score, Sporting KC 3, Seattle Sounders 0. A couple of moments ago, Matt Johnson caught up with Seattle Sounders substitute Brad Evans.
Tough two-game road trip. Where's the team at right now?
Obviously not in a good place. Again, it's difficult for me to talk about the game when I'm watching from the sideline. Most important thing for me is to come in and try to make a difference. Tonight wasn't the night, but we have a must-win at home this Saturday. We have to win this game at home on Saturday. We got to start climbing.
How do you feel physically?
Feel pretty good. Yeah, still getting there. So it's fitness. Everybody's at 110% right now, and I'm catching up. So it's an uphill battle. So I got to stay focused on the body and work my way back in the best I can.
good to get the team right back on the pitch on Saturday versus RSL?
Yeah, I mean, the first half tonight I thought was great. We played it to a T, 0-0. We had a couple chances even, and second half it unraveled. So, we got to come out flying on Saturday. No excuses at that point.
Thanks, Brad.
Well, we'll talk about Saturday in a couple of moments. It was a tale of two halves. First half, it seemed to be going well for the Sounders.
Well, it started with defensive shape, and the good defensive shape then opened up space on the counterattack, and unfortunately, Sounders weren't able to take advantage. This is probably one of the big ones. Nicholas Ladero, but at a tough angle, and then Jordan Morris looked to come into play, put some balls in dangerous areas. Flaco Fernandez.
Here's that chance for Fernandez.
Yeah, with an excellent chance here. But look, from difficult angles, but still good opportunities. Sounders couldn't take advantage. Second half comes around with Christian Roldan right before the half, stretching Tim Melia once again.
Second half, it came off his set piece. The corner kick initially Aparo with the first real effort, and here's the goal.
Well, it starts with Aparo being just 2 feet, and then ball into an area, but then this is the concentration situation. That ball just has to go in the 10th row. O'Neal Fisher gets caught in possession, and then a little bit unfortunate as Chad clears the ball initially, and it just falls straight back into the path of Gershon. Gersho just seemed to be in the right place at the right time. So with that space we were talking about in Chicago the other day, and as the Sounders go down, they just kind of
I normally ask you what stands out in the stats. I'm going to point to one thing. No shots in the first half, 12 in the second half for Sporting KC.
Yeah, and that was just, once they went the one goal down, they just lost all that team discipline and team shape that they had in the first half, and they just allowed Sporting Kansas City the opportunity to get out on the run, to have the space, to get the overlaps in, to have the cutbacks, and have a wide open player at the top of the 18. Look, the corner happens. It's a ball in the near post. There's a runner coming into that near post space. Christian Roldan sees it late, can't get a full clearance, and then actually Gersho it was too big of a touch. Really, I thought, okay, this is great, it's going to come out, and then somehow he gets a little deflection that goes into the near post. But no panic. Why hit the panic stations at that stage? You've been the better team for 55 minutes. Get settled, go there. And then it's a mistake, loss of possession, ball in, second goal down, and then they were always chasing it.
And again, the Sounders conceding multiple goals in a game. It's a difficult night. They can rebound quickly back home at the weekend against RSL. We're going to take a short break. Make sure you stay with us. We'll be back with more from Children's Mercy Park.
One, two, three, four. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Steve's headset. Okay, I've got it here. There we go. Yep.
Well, I can hear you now.
Thank you.
I think we got to talk about conceding 3 goals. I mean, you can't 7 goals in 2 matches.
Yeah, that's what we need to talk about on the road.
You can't keep saying, oh, well, we were unlucky and we conceded 3.
Right. Right. And could have conceded 5.
Thank you so much. Reading my mind.
And you can see also the ball that Dom Dwyer missed when he mistouched the ball when he went through. You had
Dwyer,
a couple opportunities, a couple of the counterattacks late. And we can kind of dismiss those as well as late in the game. You're pushing for it, but
you would have liked that.
Yeah. Right. Go a little bit on that the first header where Aparo just kind of drifts in and nobody marks him as he kind of just comes back. And then that leads to the second corner, which then leads to the first goal.
Any interviews in this half?
Because he's going to say how just great it was to get on the field in a 3-0 loss.
But that's even if Brad, I don't do the interview for him, Brad.
Right. Play 10 minutes, yeah.
But you'd like playing against Alfaro. You see how he gets ball side, and he just peels away from him.
His movement was great. Don't want to shot tonight, but his movement was great. Yeah.
On the save. Yeah, led, and that didn't happen. There was no free headers in the first half.
So we're leading in with highlights the second half? Okay. Okay. Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. There you see the final score. Sporting KC victorious by 3 goals to 0. I do hate cliches. A game of 2 halves. We've heard it so often, but it really was tonight. Defending in the first half, we all talked about how good it was. The sound of connecting the lines, but then the second half, it all came apart. What was the difference?
You know, the first half, the block was great from the Sounders. They defended with leaving Warburton high, everyone else dropping by. No one was free. Farhaba was on the ball. Everyone else was picked up. They went with runners. And when Casey got in behind, they had 6 or 7 guys in the box defending crosses. Second half, once that first goal went in, it just completely fell apart. And then you began to see the gaps opening up. And after that, Sporting KC had their way the whole half.
And as we look at the highlights in this one, Casey, how big a concern is this? Again, it's going on the road, 2 road games, conceded 7 overall. What do we have to do to fix what we saw in the second half?
It's just stick with what you did the first half, but some of it is, where are the spaces? There's no space. The first cutback comes, and it's easily cleared away by Svensson. This ball comes in, cleared away in the middle, numbers marking everything. Every time Domdar gets the ball, there's a challenge. It just was not the same in the second half. And why is that? I don't know.
You're absolutely right. Once the ball went in, everything fell apart defensively. And you began to see these individual mistakes, crosses coming in, and rather than being a sound ball first, KC was the first, second.
Well, you talked a little bit about sometimes you get tired when you have to work so hard without the ball. But this was the 55th minute. This wasn't a case where it was like in the 85th minute and you're playing a team that just has possession and possession and possession. The mistakes came a lot earlier than I thought they maybe would have. And I think that's the frustrating thing is yes, there is that mindset at times when things aren't going well and you said, okay, we had a great first half. We had chances to take the lead. We didn't take them. We conceded a goal.
You've both been in dressing rooms. How much more difficult is it for your confidence when you have played well, yet you still walk away with a 3-0 defeat?
It's tough. You're looking at 4 goals on the weekend, 3 goals today, and we can stand here and say they were unlucky. Seattle played well. It's 7 goals in 2 games away from home. Makeshift back line, but that's not good enough, and confidence has to be hit. It has to be.
Casey, there was a chance just before the 3 goals as well, where we saw maybe a theme of things to come. Opara finding too much space in the box and the good save from Fry.
Well, and you didn't see that in the first half. I mean, here's the corner. Opara just drifts away, just kind of pulls back. Chad Marshall creates that little bit of space, which you just hadn't seen at all in the first half. Forces the save for Stefan Fry, forces another corner, and from that second corner, they take the lead. Now, if that ball is initially just challenged, headed, cleared, everybody pushes up, look, it's little things. But little things cause big things. And it was just one of the first times in the match that Sporting Kansas City maybe had a succession of opportunities. Got the crowd behind them, got the goal, and then once they got the goal, heads dropped, mistake, Fisher getting caught in possession, too slow to react.
And just like at the weekend in Chicago, 3 goals conceded in the second half. Disappointing end to the game for the Sounders. We're going to take a short break. Make sure you stay with us. When we return, we're going to hear from the Sounders head coach, Brian Spencer.
Coach, the first half, obviously it's 2-half game, but the first half went according to plan as it seemed. Your thoughts on the first and second half?
The goal that started it all off, Joseph Hernandez, first of the night. He would go on to score 2 more, and Sporting KC just continue their home form. 5-0-1 at home, unbeaten in the last 15 home games. 7 goals allowed in MLS, second fewest. And maybe more importantly, 7 clean sheets. That is now the most in MLS. Well, a couple of moments ago, we heard from Coach Brian Smetzer to the media after the match.
Coach, the first half, obviously it's 2-half game, but the first half went according to plan as it seemed. Your thoughts on the first and second half?
Well, the first half was as planned, except for the fact that we didn't score. So if you don't put teams away when you're playing well, if you don't have a belief that you can score, if you don't have a belief that you can win, and you don't have a belief you can, defend for 90 minutes, then you're going to run into problems against a team like Sporting KC or any team in this league. We got to figure out a way how to believe that we can score, and that'll start a chain reaction, hopefully, and get us to, hopefully get some results.
For you in the first half, were there enough chances to put this team away?
Well, the goals change games. There's not saying if we would have scored 1 or 2 in the first half that the game wouldn't have had a different outcome, but it certainly would have put things in our favor, and that would have been ideal.
Your thoughts on Neil Fisher fighting through his hamstring on the left?
Good. Tough kid. I mean, it's next man up. He did as much as he could for as long as he could, and he played well.
Like the Chicago match, is it good to get back on the pitch 3 days from now at home in front of your home crowd against RSL?
Yeah. The guys in there are pretty frustrated again. They understand that they, played well in the first half, so they want to get back out there.
Shea Adekoya makes his MLS debut today. What went into the process of putting him out there, and how do you think he did in his final 10 minutes?
Good. We were just trying to rest some legs. He did well. Came on, provided some spark.
How's Ozzy's thigh?
Fine. We'll get him as ready as we can.
Anything else, guys? Thanks,
Coach.
Thank you.
Seattle Sounders head coach, obviously in more of a somber mood than we saw in halftime. Up on one point he made, he said goals change games. The opening goal, how did you see the Sounders respond after they conceded that opening goal tonight?
I think that was the difficult side. The response was a mistake. It was a mistake from O'Neal Fisher on the near side. The ball kind of comes in, lets it bounce, doesn't know what he's going to do with it. Sometimes when you get in that little bit of trouble, look, you're on the sideline, you just smash it up here to us in the broadcast booth and get back into a good defensive shape and get organized and get moving around. Instead, it was almost like for the first time in the match, it was like that lost. Oh, we're down a goal. I need to now try to create something. No, you're a defender. Defend. Gets caught, ball comes in, and then it's a little unfortunate. Chad Marshall comes around, clears the ball, comes off Gerso, hits him in comes far in front of the goal, and he's able to sweep it in.
Steve, to that point, you look at the back four, Chad Marshall, very experienced, but beyond that, it's Delem, Fisher, and Alfaro. Between them, they have a handful of appearances each in MLS. Is it a case of defensive shape, or is it a case of defensive personnel that has caused the leakage of goals over the last couple of matches?
I think it's a bit of both. When you heard the coach there saying the word belief, do we believe we can defend for 90 minutes? When you have Roman Torres, Chad Marshall, they can hang on the fact that they kept Toronto FC off the board in MLS Cup. The guys playing tonight were not involved in that. They can't hang there. So when you have a guy like Dom Dwyer, he starts giving his movement. Wasn't as sharp today, but his movement was great. Get into shape, and obviously Gershel coming in on the wing. They start to ask questions. You haven't seen it before. You start to panic, and I think defensively, like Kate said, after that first goal, the response wasn't great. At the weekend, responded well from the first goal. Tonight, not so.
Well, it made the space really difficult, particularly when Zuzi coming forward in the first half. Second half, there was times when Zuzi was able to come all the way up and then be one-on-one with Fisher. Now, normally you would have your outside midfielder marking that outside back as he came forward, and in the first half, more often than not, that was the case. And then, like I said, the shape got a little off, and once you're 2-0 down, you're chasing the game a little bit. Shape gets even more off. But I think it's a very valid point. It's a combination between shape and personnel. And look, I'm all for young players, opportunities. They're getting huge chances with the injuries they have, but they have to take it.
2 road games and no points gained. The Sounders, I think it's safe to say, very happy to be heading home. Next up, it is Real Salt Lake this Saturday. After the break, we're going to preview that matchup. Welcome to the Sounders FC post-match show presented by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. The final score here at Children's Mercy Park tonight. Sporting KC are winning by 3 goals to 0 after a devastating second half performance from the hosts. The key moment of the match on the hat-trick from Joseph Fernandez. It starts with that opening goal, finding the bottom corner with the help of the deflection. The man brought in to score a goal to life in the second 45 minutes.
Well, he did. He was more of a support role to that. I really thought he was going to be a player that was taking guys one-on-one. Instead, he just got himself in dangerous positions, coming off the wing, coming centrally. And look, got a little lucky, couple deflections, fell his way, but you have to be in the right spot in the right time to make those come to fruition. And he did a tremendous job today in really punishing the Sounders from what was such a great first half and such a not so great second.
Well, we're going to veer away from the match tonight. We're going to talk about another very big match coming up. Steve Zakuani and friends. We've seen the billboards. A little bit disappointed, Casey and I are on the billboards to promote this game. Big means I'd have to play. But talk to us about this game and what it means to you, Steve.
You know, it's obviously a fun event. Getting look at Marcus Hanneman dribbling there, but it's a great event just to get a bunch of former MLS guys and former Sounders guys together to raise funds for scholarship, which is always great. And I've already started my training for it, so we'll see if I'm in shape, but I encourage everyone to get tickets, come out and help to support the scholarship fund.
Who's Mark and Marshawn?
I probably put Eddie Johnson on him. That's a good fight.
Interesting.
You know what? It was that video of Marcus Hanneman making a run down the wing that has brought me back out of retirement. I'm going to play in this game because if he can get to the byline, anybody can get to the byline. Sorry if you're watching.
Are you going to get in the way of Marcus?
No.
I'm going to have Casey coach and come up with a game plan to stop Marshawn.
To stop Marshawn and Marcus. That's the 1-2 attack.
We'll do that.
Well, plenty more action today in MLS, and looking at some of the Western Conference teams, as we always do. Philly picking up 3 points over Houston. That's a good result for the Sounders. Chicago taking care of Colorado Rapids. Nikolic, 2 goals in that one as well. And Real Salt Lake leading late on against New York City FC. They have been in poor form, Real Salt Lake. That would be a big 3 points for them. San Jose also in action taking on Orlando City, but you look to those teams around you in the standings. If RSL pick up 3 points, you heard Brad Evans at the final whistle. He said it's a must-win at the weekend. You agree?
As must-win as you can be at this stage of the season. The bad thing for the Sounders is what happened last year. All the way in August, you were towards the bottom, you turn around and won MLS Cup. That almost works against you. But for the stage of the season, for confidence reasons, it is a must-win.
You just got to get to winning your home games.
Yeah.
You know, start at home. Make CenturyLink a fortress once again. Pick up some good points. Get some confidence going. Be more competitive on the road. Not necessarily thinking that you have to win every game on the road, but losing 4-1, losing 3-0 makes it difficult.
And some big matches coming up, of course, the big rivalry matchup with Portland. Then it's at Columbus. And then you're looking at games where you're potentially without some of the big internationals. So some of these young players that we're seeing getting these games, they're going to be used again throughout the season.
As Casey said, you can get those chances, but you have to take them. And I'm all for playing young players, but at some point the coach is going to go with what's working. And if I'm playing certain guys that were not getting results, they'll stop playing. So for these young guys, it's a great chance to stake your claim and make the position yours.
Well, Shea Adekoya made his debut tonight in MLS, and a couple of moments ago, Matt Johnson had the chance to catch up with the young striker.
Shea, obviously not the result you were looking for, but your feelings making your MLS debut this evening?
Very happy to have gotten it. Been waiting, like talking with the coaches, trying to improve every single day to get ready to where they feel comfortable putting me on the field. Not happy with the result, obviously. I could have scored a goal, so that's not good enough. But happy to have gotten on the field.
And what did Coach ask you to do when you came on for 13, 14 minutes?
Same thing he asked anyone to do this whole game. He just said, go in, work hard, bust your butt. If you have to make a foul, take a foul. But work hard and try to get something positive.
Tough result, but congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Shea Adekoya making his MLS debut.
First MLS game, first MLS interview, all done. He seemed very confident in that, although of course he'd like to speak in more better circumstances. But you look to this, you look to the attack again, held scoreless. Jordan Morris, only a couple of goals on the season so far, coming off a very big campaign. What have you guys seen from him so far, and what does he have to do to improve?
You know, I said if Jordan's going to play as a lone striker, I prefer him on the wing. But on the wing, he has to get more involved, stay wide, face guys up, go 1v1. If that's not going to happen, then Jordan needs to be in the middle, be around the goal. He needs just a goal to hit his knee, go in the back of the net, get confidence back. So we saw him in glimpses in the first half. second half he disappeared, and that's because he's still learning what it means to be a winger. Jordan's development probably is going to be through the middle, and so at some point he's got to pick a position, stay there, develop. He has all the quality, but he needs to get his confidence going, and that's through the middle.
You know, it's been a little bit of a stop-start season for him with the ankle injury that he picked up at the end of preseason, and then he's been kind of fighting through that, and then turned it again in one of the matches at CenturyLink, and you get to see that he doesn't quite seem to be there. The confidence isn't right there, but we also saw that at the beginning of last season. It took him a while to get going, took him a while to get into the flow, and then everything kind of clicked from there. So it is one of those seasons so far where you're just waiting for that consistency to come from the players, from having the numbers of players on the field, the same lineups on the field, and it just hasn't been possible because of injuries or whatnot for Brian Schmetzer. So at some stage, it's early in the year. We know this is MLS. We know what happened last year, but at some stage it needs to be turned around.
We're running out of time. One word answer. Clint Dempsey back in the lineup at the weekend?
Yes.
I thought I would know the answer to that one. Clint Dempsey, top scorer on the season so far for the Sounders. And once again, the final score from Kansas City tonight, 3-0 to Sporting KC. The Sounders return home next Saturday to face Real Salt Lake at CenturyLink Field. Coverage starts at 1:30 right here on Joe TV. Get your seats at soundersfc.com/tickets. On behalf of the entire Sounders FC broadcast, I'm Keith Costigan saying good night, with the final score once again is Sporting KC 3, Seattle Sounders 0. Who wants to take the good? Who wants to take the bad? Good, bad, good, bad.
Doesn't matter. Surprise us. I don't care.
I'll take the good.
Take the good? A disappointing night for the Seattle Sounders, but it all started brightly in that first 45 minutes. Defended well. The game plan seemed to be working, Casey. What did you see in that first 45 that was positive?
Keith, we talked in the pregame that I just wanted to see great defensive shape. Don't take a lot of risks. Just make sure that the ball stays in front of you. There'll be opportunities as this Kansas City team loves to throw their two outside backs forward and try to hit them on the counter, and I thought it worked perfectly well the first half.